All right, with sales slowing down to a trickle, cash-starved real estate developers have had few avenues to raise funds to expand or finish ongoing projects. Private equity funds have emerged as a lifeline, with global and domestic fund both houses actually investing large sums into the sector. So much so that private equity inflows are at their highest in 4 years. What's behind this surge and what are these fund houses betting on? Nikhil Narayan Sivdas has this report.
When private equity funds first flocked to the Indian real estate market between 2006 and 2008, a majority burned their fingers on projects that were ill-planned and overvalued, leaving them unable to recover their investments. But today, that nightmare seems to have been left behind, with private equity interest in the sector soaring.
The interest of private equity investors into India will increase. After all, China is drying up in terms of it. There's too much surpluses in terms of housing and real estate investments. I think India is the take and way forward.
Data from Cushman & Wakefield indicates that total PE inflows into Indian real estate were at a little over $1.6 billion in the first half of 2015, compared to $0.6 billion in the same period in 2014. Global and domestic fund houses sensed opportunities in the distressed real estate market. Experts say sales have dropped and developers find themselves with no funds to finish ongoing projects or expand their businesses, leaving them with no option but to turn to PE funds that are then able to enter at cheaper valuations while exercising more control.
A lot of private equity funds are actually long on real estate. They are betting on the long-term potential of real estate and the fact that this market is only going to mature. A lot of it is going to go towards land buying, towards funding the growth for these developers, because there is a lot of residential potential still left as far as real estate is concerned.
The government's efforts to promote India as an investment destination is paying off, with foreign funds lining up with a number of big-ticket deals signed this year, including Warburg Pincus's investments in Piramal Realty, Goldman Sachs' investments in Piramal Realty and Nitesh Estates, and Blackstone's acquisition of 24/7 Tech Park in Mumbai. These investments by global funds are being seen as an endorsement of Indian real estate and are also spurring consolidation in the sector.
More and more developers are seeking private equity opportunities. There are a lot of M&A going on in the market where certain profile of developers or tier 1 and tier 2 developers are taking over projects from tier 3 developers, for example, or brownfield projects, which is really making the whole space very interesting for investors' point of view because there is a quicker turnaround.
That is all the more relevant considering that the real estate sector's only other hope, REITs, is still stuck, with many in the industry calling for further tax clarity in the regulations proposed by SEBI. Couple this with the reluctance of banks to lend to the real estate sector and the limitation on borrowing to purchase land, and it is clear that private equity investments are the only hope for the sector to expand and survive the real estate slump. Going ahead, experts are hopeful that positive sentiments coupled with a softening interest rate cycle will lead to more private equity investments coming in. From Mumbai, Nikhil Narayan Sivdas, NDTV.
Well, PE investors definitely think that India's real estate market has some hot opportunities, and to check these out, what's happening? We've got Indian and global PE funds, industry leaders who will meet in the financial capital in Mumbai on 5th and 6th October for the Naredco and Apria's Real Estate and Infrastructure Investors Summit. We will bring you the highlights of the event and also the big trends in real estate as seen by some of the biggest players in the sector. And coming up next, a spotlight on